UFC 317 goes down this Saturday night as we have Charles Oliveira taking on Ilia Topuria for the UFC's vacant lightweight strap. In the co-main event, we have Alexandre Pantoja taking on Kai of France for the UFC's flyweight title. In total, we have 12 fights on this card, and I'm expecting a lot of finishes, man. I'll be shocked if we see over 4 decisions on this card in total. I'm expecting a ton of violence, a ton of finishes. I think a few people are going to get slept. I think a few people are going to get submitted. It's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait for this card. It's going to be so sick. It's International Fight Week, so the UFC is doing it big. And I'm going to be at the fights, so if you're at the fights, if you're at T-Mobile and you see me, come say what up, 100%. Let's grab a drink. But yeah, man, I'm super excited for this card. It's actually a tough card to bet on. I feel like there's a ton of live underdogs, so we have to be careful with our bets. But hopefully we can hit some bets, hopefully we can hit a few bets, in person while we're watching the fights at the arena. Yeah, so without any further ado, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get right down to it. Up first, we have the main event. Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira. Topuria comes in at -500, while Charles Oliveira comes back at +350. Now, the big thing I want to talk about right here is the size right off the bat. That money line is absolutely crazy. 5-1, favorite over someone like Charles Oliveira is absolutely insane. Because for as long as Charles Oliveira is conscious, he's live to win this fight, man. The guy has the most submission wins in UFC history. Nobody has ever submitted more people than Charles Oliveira. Guy has insane, attacks off his back, and his striking's not bad either. He's putting people down and hurting them bad. He's gonna be way bigger in this fight as well. Look at the stats on your screen. Ilia Topuria, 5'7", 28 years old, 69-inch reach. Charles Oliveira, 5'10", 35 years old with a 74-inch reach. So a big-time reach and height advantage going into Charles Oliveira when they face off at the weigh-ins tomorrow. He's going to be towering over Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria obviously was a 145 champion, knocking out Volkanovski and then knocking out Max Holloway to defend the belt. Is absolutely crazy, right? 2 of the greatest, back-to-back wins ever, really. No one's ever knocked out Holloway, and Ilia Topuria made it look easy. He was tagging Holloway, and he put him out bad, man. Put him out viciously. The guy's boxing is absolutely unreal, and that's what's so dangerous about Ilia Topuria. This guy has it all. He's a slick boxer. This guy has a crazy highlight reel. If you were to just be a casual fan and see his highlights, you'd be like, oh my God, this guy's a slick KO artist, right? But before the UFC, man, this guy's a grappler, a sick submission artist. This guy can take you down. You can scramble with the best of them and submit you. So this dude is very high level, very well-rounded, and one of the best pound-for-pound fighters inside the UFC currently right now. He's fighting a dangerous fighter, though, in Charles Oliveira. To see +350 next to Charles Oliveira, it's hard not to be tempted to lay on the money line. I feel like a lot of people are counting out Oliveira in this fight, expecting him to get knocked down. He doesn't have the best striking defense, and he has been knocked down in a ton of his fights. He almost gets knocked down every fight, it feels like. But he has some weapons here that can make it interesting, specifically those knees up the middle and those front kicks up the middle. Topuria really dips his head when he throws these combinations. And to me, it's not so much, 1-2s or following up double jabs. He is winging hooks, man. This guy throws hooks to kill you, basically, and he rips the body viciously. So he likes to go up low, get your guard down, and then go back up top and finish the job. And he's slick, man, no doubt about it. Probably the best, pocket boxer inside the UFC and one of the best boxers in general inside the UFC. And for me, I'm going with Ilia Topuria, man. I love Charles Oliveira. I'll be rooting for him 100%. I want to see him win this belt. But it's just so hard of a fight, man. Ilia's going to be cutting the cage off. Ilia's going to be the one, trying to get Charles, with his back against the cage on the warning track. And from there, I think he knocks him out, man. I think Ilia Topuria wins this fight in rounds 2 or rounds 3. I actually do like the over 1.5 rounds. I'm seeing it at -125. I don't think that's a bad look. I think that both guys can at least come out and play smart because they're going to have to respect each other. If these guys go out, you ready to fight, and they just go in the center and meet in the middle, it's going to be chaos, and the fight's going to be over in like 45 seconds, which would be fun and exciting and everything, but they're not dumb, man. They want to win the belt. They want to get paid. They want to get their win bonus. So whichever path is, helping them win the most, I feel like that's the path they're going to take. And I think that Ilia will hurt Oliveira at some point in this fight. And Oliveira at 155 kind of has like this X factor, this like, magical trick he can pull off his back, because when people knock him down, like, they're scared to go follow up because he's so dangerous with the submissions, right? His jiu-jitsu is so good. The guy has the most submission wins in UFC history. Nobody has ever submitted more people than Charles Oliveira. I mean, he's dangerous. Like, he can hit calf slicers. He can, backpack you. He can get the body triangle. And that's my worry here with Ilia Topuria. If he gets in a scramble with Charles and makes one bad move, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to get submitted like instantly, but it's just a control thing. I think Charles Oliveira can get the back and really lock that body triangle in. But I just don't see a world where he doesn't get hurt by Ilia Topuria and eventually put down. The thing with this is, if he hurts Charles, I don't think he's going to be scared to follow him to the mat. We saw with Islam Makhachev. Islam was the first guy to really trust his grappling. He hurt Oliveira, dropped Oliveira, and then he dove right in. Like, he dove right into half guard, and obviously got the head and arm choke right after. But I don't think Ilia is going to be scared at all to grapple with Charles, but I think he should be smart not to because he's going to be way smaller, man. And he's just so dangerous off his back, Charles, that is. So for me, I'm going with Ilia Topuria here. Ilia Topuria round 2 knockout. I do like that over, like I said, at minus 125, 1.5. But yeah, man, tough fight for Charles. I'll be rooting for him at 35 years old. I just don't think he's going to get the belt back, especially against someone streaking, in their prime, on the rise, and as dangerous as Ilia Topuria. So I'm expecting Ilia Topuria to win this fight via knockout in that second round. And it's going to be a banger, man. I'm rooting for Charles, but I think we hear and new Ilia Topuria, 155 champion, his second belt in the UFC. In the co-main event, we have Alexandre Pantoja taking on Kai of France. Pantoja comes in at minus 250, while Kai of France comes in at plus 200. Now, there's going to be a theme for this card, man. I like a lot of underdogs, and I'm really tempted to pick Kai of France here, but ultimately I am going to decide with the Pantoja submission win here. I think that Kai of France has all the tools to win this fight and definitely make it close. You go back to the Usyk fight with Pantoja, and it was 2-2 going in round 5. And if Usyk makes a couple better moves and it doesn't really get put on his back with these takedowns from Pantoja, I think that Usyk probably could have won that fight. And Kai of France went out there and dusted Usyk. He put him away early. Obviously, MMA math isn't how you look at fights and how you shouldn't break down fights, but I don't know, man. I think that Pantoja, he's like one of the most dominant champions we've seen in this division, him and Mighty Mouse. The guys, there's one thing to go through all the contenders, but Pantoja's approaching like recycling division. Like, he's going through guys, beating them twice now. Like, this guy's beating so many contenders, they have to sign guys from other organizations to come fight him. It's crazy, man. Pantoja is one of the best champions we've ever had in the UFC. I wish he was a bigger fan favorite because he fights like the way you want to see fights, man. He's reckless, goes forward, chin in the air, just throwing bombs. And if you get into scrambles with him, he will choke you, man. This guy's grappling is very good, and I think that's the biggest gap in this fight. I actually do think that Kai of France is the better striker, the better technical striker here. I think that he will be able to match Pantoja on the feet 100% and even probably win a lot of the striking exchanges. But once they get on the mat, I just think that the gap in the grappling is just so superior than on the feet. I think that Pantoja's grappling is so far better than Kai of France that at some point in a scramble, I think he snatches the neck, whether it's along the cage, wrist riding him, Dagestani handcuffing him, or just laying on top and try to get a full mount. I think that Pantoja kind of dusts him on the mat here. If it doesn't end up on the mat, if Pantoja can get these takedowns, statistically, Kai of France has, good takedown defense. It's in the 80%. But I think that Pantoja eventually does get him down, grabs him and chokes him, and if not, wins the decision here by winning those grappling exchanges. But Kai of France is a live underdog at minus 250. I'm not laying it on Pantoja. I think he wins, but he's aging, he's old, he's 35 years old. Like I said, he had a really close fight with Steve Usyk, someone that Kai of France absolutely put away early, made it look easy. And it's weird to see Kai of France in a title fight. He's 1-2 in his last 3 fights, so you never really see that often, but like I said, this guy's running through all the contenders. There's really no one left for Pantoja to fight. So I think he wins. I think he retains his belt. I think we hear and still. But I do think it's going to be submission. So I'm going to go with Alexandre Pantoja to win this fight via submission in that 3rd round. Oh, man. And up next, we have an absolute banger of a fight in the flyweight division. Dana White came out today and said that the winner of this fight actually is going to be fighting for the belt next, regardless of who wins the Pantoja fight, him or Kai of France. The winner of this fight will be fighting them for the next title shot. So we have Brandon Royval taking on Joshua Van. Royval even money here, underdog, while Joshua Van comes in at minus 120. And I'm going with Raw Dog here. I'm going with Brandon Raw Dog Royval here to win this fight as an underdog here. And listen, I get it. I love Joshua Van. This guy's an exciting fighter. Everyone should be, aware of who he is. If you're just a casual fan, you should know who Joshua Van is because he's streaking, man. 23 years old and a very good, well-rounded fighter. This dude's striking is unreal. Slick boxing. We talked about Ilia Topuria being a very good pocket boxer. Joshua Van's up there as well, man. This guy is slick with his hands. Decent enough defensive grappling. We've seen him defend and scramble with guys. Obviously, you don't want to have a 15-minute striking fight with Joshua Van because you're going to lose. So obviously a lot of guys are going out there trying to get him down. He's done a good job so far of getting up to his feet and keeping distance. So the thing with me and what makes me want to go with Royval is, for one, the strength of schedule. Royval's been in there with way better guys. He's dynamic on the feet. He can match Van on the feet. I don't think the striking is going to be a one-way traffic here going to Van. I think it's going to be pretty even. But I think that Royval is just a way better grappler. Like, I know, I just got done saying Van has very good takedown defense, but I think that Royval is just a slick submission artist, on the mat. I don't think that Van has seen someone like, Royval. And then the size, man. This guy's going to be, towering over him. They had the press conference already where they faced off. And right here on your screen, you see a 4-inch height advantage for Royval, but I think it's more, man. I think he's way bigger than Van. I think he's going to be towering over him. And one thing I have to mention is Joshua Van's crazy active. He's 23 years old, and this will be his 6th fight in 1 year. This guy is super active. This guy fought 3 weeks ago. We just talked about him, a couple weeks ago fighting. He obviously won his fight, and now he gets a title fight basically on short notice. he had a really good fight against Bruno Silva, and I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how much weight he cuts or like what his deal is, how much he walks around at, but 6 weight cuts in a year, dude, that cannot be good for you. And I think eventually, like, your activity is going to be a negative, and I think it comes here. So I think it's a little bit too much, too early for Joshua Van. If he wins, he's getting a title fight, which is absolutely crazy. But he's good, man. He's a great fighter, great talented fighter, good young fighter, well-rounded. So he's definitely, deserving of it. But it just kind of feels like it's a little bit rushed. So I'm going Royval here. I'm going Raw Dog Royval, especially at plus money. Give me Raw Dog Royval to win a decision here. Up next, we have Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. It's a pick'em 110 both sides. I'm going with Beneil Dariush in this fight. At first, I was thinking about going with Moicano. Man, he's very active on his feet. He's very good striking. And obviously a very good grappler, right? A black belt in jiu-jitsu. But so is Dariush. Dariush, to me, is a better scrambler, whereas Moicano is a better finisher on the mat. I think Dariush has a more likelihood of winning control minutes here than Moicano does. And on the feet, I think it's pretty even. Both guys are very old right here on your screen. 2 36-year-olds fighting. And for 155, that's really old, guys. Like, what really hurts Dariush, though, is that he's had white hair on his head for like 5 years now. So he's looked 40 for like 5 years. Obviously, he's aging, both 36 years old. But I think Dariush has, the tools to win this fight. I think this will be a close fight. I think that Moicano... I just think it's close, man. I really can't feel strongly one way or another. Like, I think Moicano is a little bit chinny. I think he could be hit and hurt to the body. Whereas Dariush, I mean, he doesn't scream athletic, explosive striker. Like, he doesn't jump off the page to you when you watch him fight. I mean, it's just one of those fights where they're evenly matched. And I think that odds, reflect that. A pick 'em fight, and I think it can go both ways. To me, I think it's going to be Dariush winning a decision here. I think it's going to be a close fight. Can't go wrong, either way. It's hard to feel strong about this fight, whichever fight you pick. But to me, I'm going Beneil Dariush. I think, he can put together a good 15-minute game plan here. I don't think he's going to be taken down and then, controlled by Moicano. I definitely don't think he's going to get submitted by Moicano. But if either one of these guys just get flash KO'd and gets finished, that wouldn't shock me either. So it's just one of those fights where I definitely won't be betting it. I'll just be watching it as a fan. And I'm hoping it's an exciting fight. So give me Beneil Dariush to win this fight via decision. And up next, we have Payton Talbott taking on Felipe Lima. Talbot comes in at plus 155 while Lima comes in at minus 185. And I'm going with Payton Talbot here, man. We see it often in the UFC. We call it market correction, where a fighter wins a fight or they lose a fight. In the next fight, the odds are completely different, right? So Payton Talbot's kind of has a negative aura right now amongst the fans because he came into his last fight as a minus 1,000 favorite and lost every single round. Not even close. He got fucking schooled by Raoni Barcelos. He lost every single round, 30-27, 30-26 on one card, and he got dominated in the wrestling, and that's not going to help here because Felipe Lima is a very good grappler. This guy is slick on the mat, can submit anybody. This guy can definitely snatch the neck of Talbot up quickly if he gets there. But on the feet, I don't think it's crazy, one-side traffic here. I think it's going to be close. I think Talbot's a better striker. I think he's very quick on the feet. He's going to be way bigger, 5'10" to 5'6", which in theory might help Lima get to the hips, on these takedown entries, a little bit easier. His little center of gravity is going to be way lower than Payton Talbot. But, you're coming off getting wrestled, for 3 rounds. If you're Talbot, there's no way you're going to go out here and not expect that from your opponent, right? You don't want to be in a striking fight with Talbot. He will put your lights out 100%. He was undefeated prospect, 9-0 going to his last fight, like I said, at minus 1,000. Goes in there and loses. Now he's plus 155 over a guy that has 1 UFC win. So I like Lima. I had him, on short notice as an underdog pick when he won his fight against Naimov, and he looked great. But here, I don't know, man. Minus 185, I just don't see it. I think that the value here is on Payton Talbot. If I was going to bet this fight, I would definitely bet Payton Talbot on the money line. And who knows? I actually do think that I will find my way to a Payton Talbot, bet here. So give me Payton Talbot to win a decision, stay off the mat. But if he gets taken down, and loses round 1, man, he's probably going to lose the fight because we're going to find out pretty early how his, defensive takedown abilities have improved from his last fight. And honestly, I don't really expect it to improve that much, man. Wrestling is one of those things where you can't just do it in one camp, right? You have to, it takes years to get, proficient in grappling. So I have hope. I'm not writing off Talbot. I still have hope for him as a prospect. I think he can win this fight. It's going to be a tough fight. Like I said, he has to defend these takedowns. He can't stay on the mat. Because on the feet, I think he's totally live to win this fight, win a close decision. So give me Payton Talbot to land more damage and ultimately win a decision in that fight. Now to the prelims. We have Jack Hermansson taking on Gregory Robocop Rodrigues. Hermansson comes in at plus 185 while Rodrigues comes in at minus 225. And I don't want to bet the minus 225 on Gregory because there is a path for Hermansson to win, and that's to survive round 1 and then work his grappling in round 2 and round 3 and hopefully submit Gregory. But I don't think that's going to happen, man. Gregory is a decent grappler in his own right. He's really big. He's huge for the division. The weight cuts are a real problem for him, which leads to his durability being a problem. When you have to cut that much weight, you don't have a lot of water in your brain, you're really dehydrated, and your chin, goes. You're more liable to get knocked out on a shot that probably wouldn't knock you out if you didn't cut so much weight. So obviously here, Gregory is a better striker, more dangerous striker, and I think he will knock out Hermansson at some point early in this fight. I'm going Gregory Rodrigues round 1 or round 2 knockout. But like I said, minus 225, I just feel like I'd rather bet him inside the distance, because if it goes all 3 rounds, I'm pretty sure Hermansson's going to be winning that 3rd round. So it's just one of those things where Gregory can't afford to, gas out, get tired, and then look like a dead fish in round 3. So, but I'm not impressed by Hermansson at this point, man. I know he had that Joe Pfeiffer win where everyone counted him out, but that was a 5-round fight, and he was down after 3 rounds. So I think Gregory can win those first 2 rounds, and then not get finished in that 3rd. But I do think that he will find the chin of Jack. And I think he puts the lights out here in those first 2 rounds. So give me Gregory Rodrigues round 1 or round 2 knockout. And up next, we have Hyder Amil taking on Jose Delgado. Hyder Amil comes in at plus 135, while Delgado comes in at minus 170. I'm going with another underdog here, which sucks because Delgado's kind of like has like a soft spot. I have like a soft spot for him because I remember watching him in the LFA days. It's cool because when you're a fight fan like me, you watch fights whenever they're on, right? So it doesn't have to be the UFC. It could be PFL, which is happening right now, or LFA or whoever, Karate Combat. You're just always watching, trying to watch fights. And Delgado caught my eye on the LFA scene, man. This guy is a very good striker. Pretty big for the division. He's 5'11", but he kind of like towers. He kind of, leads real heavy on that front foot, and he has slick striking. He's very fast, very long for the division. I haven't really seen too much of his grappling, but I know he's very dangerous on the feet. But Hyder Amil, oh my goodness, man. This guy throws his technique out the window. He has a battering ram technique where he puts his head down and just throws crazy hooks from, super wide out. But he's going forward, and he definitely impressed me in that Gomes fight because in that fight, Gomes is a fighter that has really good lateral movement, right? He's always moving, always hard to find, and it was impressive how Hyder Amil was able to cut the angles off and land his shots, against someone that's as elusive as, William Gomes. So the one thing that makes me a little bit hesitant here is that Hyder Amil is 35 years old. For featherweight, that's extremely old, right? And then Delgado is like the streaking young prospect who has shown finishing ability, has shown very good striking. And then Hyder Amil plays right into that, right? Hyder Amil fights like a wrecking ball. It's chaos, right? He invites those crazy striking exchanges, so he's got to be safe here. But I am going to pick Hyder Amil, man. I like him. I like what I've seen so far. I think it's a little bit early for Jose Delgado to be a minus 170 favorite in his, pay-per-view debut, basically. Give me Hyder Amil here. I think he wins this fight. I think it's going to be a tough fight, but I have a feeling the underdog is going to pull it off. So give me Hyder Amil here to win this fight, and I wouldn't be shocked if he knocks out Delgado in this fight. And up next, we have a women's fight. Viviane Araujo taking on Tracey Cortez. Araujo is plus 210, while Cortez is minus 260. And I think that Tracey wins the decision here in this fight, but I don't want to be laying minus 260. If I'm going to bet this fight, I would just bet Tracey to win via decision. You're probably not getting better odds. It's probably around minus 240. But still, that's just how I think she's going to win this fight. I don't see either girl getting finished in this fight. But Tracey doesn't, doesn't seem to me as someone that I'm running to the window to bet minus 260. At minus 260, I feel like that's just a little bit too much. And it's going to be a close fight because Viviane can match Tracey in the striking, and she could definitely match her in the grappling. Tracey is a well-rounded fighter in her own right, but I just don't see, the minus 260 skill gap here. I think that Viviane Araujo, regardless of her age, can pose a threat to anyone in the division and keep fights close. So, to me, I am going to go with the younger fighter here. I do like Tracey. I know she didn't look very good in that Rose Namajunas fight, but that was a little bit on the short notice side, and to see Rose land the takedowns on Tracey was a bit of a surprise. I expected Tracey to be the better grappler in that fight, and she was getting taken down quite often against Rose. I don't expect that to be happening against Araujo. I think that Tracey will learn from her, mistakes and on a full camp be ready for this fight. Tracey is a little bit of a head case, so be careful if you're parlaying her, if you're laying her straight at minus 260, because you never know what kind of mood she's going to be in when she fights. So, like I said, Tracey doesn't scream like a dependable minus 260 favorite to me, so I'm going to ultimately pass and not bet this fight. But for me, my pick is going to be Tracey to win via decision. And up next, someone's going to get absolutely slept in this fight. Just don't know who. We have Tracy McKinney taking on, I'm not going to try to say his first name, Borshchev, Slavoclaus. McKinney comes in at minus 170, while Borshchev comes in at plus 140. And yeah, man, both these guys are finishers and also finishees. I don't know what to say, what the right word is, but they're getting finished when they lose. These guys are getting absolutely put out cold, whether it's getting submitted or getting knocked out. Terrance McKinney is a one-round fighter. He's a complete gas cannon. If he doesn't win the fight in the first 2 rounds, he's probably not going to win the fight at all. But he's very athletic, right? He's explosive, very quick. He's actually not bad of a grappler. He's not a bad grappler. He's a very good wrestling background, but he strikes when he fights, right? He wants to look for that KO, and he's very fast with his striking. But so is Borshchev. Borshchev is a way more skilled, more accomplished kickboxer than McKinney, but there's a huge gap in the grappling, at least in my opinion. I think McKinney has the wrestling here to get Borshchev down and then really work him from there. But that's the thing, though. If McKinney takes down Borshchev early and then works him and then doesn't finish him, like, there's a chance McKinney might tire himself out by by grappling here. So it's kind of those weird situations where McKinney could probably easily grapple here, but it's going to do him bad because it's going to lose his cardio earlier, quicker, you know? So, I don't know. I think someone gets absolutely slept in this fight. I'll be stunned if this fight goes all 3 rounds. But for me, I'm going Terrance McKinney knockout in round 2. I do think he gets some takedowns, but I do think we see the second round. And from there, I think he finds a finish. So, give me Terrance McKinney round 2 knockout and what should be an absolutely chaotic fight for as long as it lasts. And this one shouldn't last long at all. You can probably tell by the gambling odds right here on your screen. We have Niko Price taking on Smith taking on Niko Price here. Smith comes in at minus 3,000 while Niko Price comes in at plus 1,000. Now I'm not going to spend too much time here. Niko Price is going to get finished in this fight. It just depends on whether it's going to be submission or knockout. Smith is a college wrestler, wrestled at Oklahoma State, and if you know college wrestling, you know those guys are elite of the elites. Those are one of the top 5 programs in the world. But, man, you watch him fight, and he's knocking people out, right? This dude's absolutely explosive, hurting people bad. And when it comes to the wrestling, man, do not let this guy body lock you. Do not let him get the hands locked around your waist because you're going for a ride, and you're not getting off. Like, this dude will do anything to get you down, and he's competent on the ground, man. This guy's a very slick grappler. And a streaking prospect with a ton of finishing upside, right? Whereas Niko Price is shown to be, at this point, a little bit chinny. Well, not even a little bit. He is chinny, and the durability has absolutely left him. He's a great fighter, has accomplished a lot in the UFC. Obviously, has way more experience. He's like the veteran in this fight, whereas Smith's like the newcomer, you know. I just don't think there's a world where he doesn't get caught at some point by Smith. If Niko Price were to win this fight, it'd be the biggest upset in UFC history, at least from a gambling perspective, in my opinion. But I think Smith works him. I think he gets him out of there in that first round. I think it's going to be a knockout. But I'm not sleeping on a Smith or submission here. I know he's a college wrestler, and I know he doesn't have any submission wins on his record, maybe 1 or 2. But yeah, man, I think he can find the head and arm choke if he hurts him bad. So give me Smith via knockout. But I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up getting a submission here. And up next, we have Renato Diniz taking on Hines. Hines is making his debut here on a relatively short notice, I believe. Whereas Diniz, minus 350 on the money line. Hines, plus 270. Again, not going to spend too much time here because it's pretty one-way traffic, in my opinion. I think Diniz is a way better striker. I think that Hines, if he does somehow get a takedown here and puts Diniz on his back, it could get interesting here. If you're someone with a parlay ticket, you have Diniz, and God forbid he ends up on his back, gets taken down, you're going to be sweating bullets, man, because this guy cannot grapple. He's absolute fish on the mat. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think he absolutely sleeps this guy Hines early in this fight. I think it's going to be a round one knockout, and there's not much to it. So, yeah, give me Diniz, knockout round 1. I don't know who this guy is on the left. I have no clue who this person is. I've never seen him fight for a second in my life. This was supposed to be Rodrigues Dumas taking on McVeigh. But, yeah, no comment. Give me McVeigh. I was going to pick him against Rodrigues. He's a decent fighter, but McVeigh has a really low level of strength of schedule. He's been fighting Kansas 6-0. He's fighting guys who are like 2-4, 7-11. It's not great, right? So I don't know why this fight is even happening. Like 2 UFC debutants leading off the early prelims. Who cares, really? Honestly, who cares? Give me McVeigh decision. Hopefully it's an exciting fight. Look at this dude's picture. He's so fat. That's crazy. He's on short notice, so I don't blame him. But, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know how this fight got booked or what's going on here. So, who cares? Give me McVeigh. And that'll do it, guys. That'll do it. I'm trying to make it pretty quick this week. Kind of ran through some of those fights, but it's going to be so exciting, man. Such a great card this week, and I can't wait to see it. So I'm going to be in attendance. Going to be at T-Mobile. I'm going to be with my homie Johnny K. Picks and my old co-host Martin. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be great. So if you see us, hit us up. We'll take a picture, grab a drink, all that stuff. Yeah, man. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Leave me a comment. Let me know who you have, and good luck on your bets. Peace.